Alright, if you are looking to save money and get a solid projector at the same time, stick around because this might just be the gem or missing piece of your home theater setup that you're looking for. Yo, big up on yourself, people. Welcome. We're back again. Today, we're talking about my home theater setup as promised in previous videos. So yeah, if you ever wondered if you can create solid, proper, world-class home theater setup on a budget, well, you've come to the right video because I did it. I used Panasonic PT-RZ470UK from Facebook Marketplace for just $125. Crazy. It came with about 4,500 usage hours, 4,500 hours of usage, and you know, I'm here to talk about if it still delivers. So in this video, I'll break down everything you need to know about this projector: its brightness, its picture quality, how easy it is to set up and use, is it reliable, especially as a used projector, and will it be sufficient for your home theater goals. Plus, I'll share my honest opinion and my honest experience about using the projector. So yeah, let's dive into it. Also, disclaimer, this isn't a brand new projector, as I've said before. It was used, so I'm not actually at home at the time of making this video, but I did pre-record some videos of me using the projector and the physical features of the projector. I'm actually at a hotel in Ventura County right now. My job sent me here to do an install. I'm an audio-visual technician, that's my day job, and that includes me installing projectors, projector screens, TVs, big TVs, small TVs, monitors, speakers, computers, amplifiers, all together to make an audio-visual system and connect them with different cables and wires in order to make it all connect and work together and communicate together. So that's my job. Like, this is something I'm passionate about. I love tinkering with electronics and finding good deals on Facebook Marketplace and OfferUp, putting them together and just experimenting. But yeah, I love this. I love everything about media, entertainment, and creating experiences to be a part of creating different audio visual experiences. And you know, that's why we're here today talking about this. I do drone work, animation, audio visual technician work. So let's dive into it. Let's start with the basics. The Panasonic PT-RZ7. It's a long name. I'm not gonna say this too often. I'm just gonna refer to it as the Panasonic, right? Now that we established that we're talking about this Panasonic PT-RZ470UK. Cool. So Panasonic is a 1080p laser projector that uses DLP technology, digital light processing, and it boasts brightness of 3,500 lumens, which is pretty decent for sure. I can say that for sure. That's definitely, in my opinion, that's like a minimum. Like between 32, 3,000 is like, eh. But 32 to 35 is a good base to start with in terms of brightness. It has a contrast ratio of 20,000 to 1. Very good. So all this comes together to make it very capable of delivering vibrant and bright and detailed and sharp visuals. Also, because it is a laser projector, it offers a longer usage time than traditional projectors with lamps, both session-wise, like usage within a session, as well as usage over the lifespan of this projector. Unlike traditional projectors or the more common projectors that you see on the market today, the lifespan or expectancy of the projector is around 20,000 hours compared to a lamp projector where you have to change the lamp for around 3,000-4,000 hours. So yeah, that's a huge bonus, especially if you want a low maintenance setup. Plus, it has a useful feature which is called the lens shift, and that enables me to mount it at weird angles if I need to, which I did. Kinda, it was off when I mounted it. It wasn't straight onto the projector screen because of where I had to put it. But with the lens shift feature, I was able to keep the projector at an angle while shifting the lens back straight in order to get it straight head on to projector screen. So that's a very useful feature of the more high-end projectors. as opposed to the more common projectors where you have to be more deliberate when you're placing the projector because you don't really have lens shrink, but you have keystone. But even if you use keystone, the angle of the lens is still at an angle, so it causes one part of the image to be sharper than the further part of the image, which causes it to look uneven and weird, which is a problem I had with my previous projector. I had an Epson 5210, and I'll be comparing this projector to that projector because it's a more common projector, the Epson, that people, or the specs I should say, of that projector is more common to what people are used to dealing with and seeing. So one thing I'll admit that when I saw that the unit had 4,500 usage hours already, now remember, typical projectors, they need changing or maintenance at around 3,000 to 4,000 hours of usage. That's when the lamp starts going dimmer, it starts getting discolored. So when I was buying this projector used at 4,500 hours, I was kind of skeptical, but so far it hasn't disappointed. The specs of this projector really sets the stage for great and solid home theater setup experience, even at the age and the year it was released. Also, for comparison, the Panasonic comes with a 3,500 lumen rating, whereas the Epson has a 2,800 lumen rating. So just imagine there's that much difference that you can see when projecting an image, especially in the dark and shadowy areas. And it has such a great contrast ratio that you don't really miss out on any details, which is a problem I was having on my Epson setup when I was using the Epson projector. Alright, so now let's talk about picture quality and brightness. These are two areas where the Panasonic knocks regular projectors like the Epson out of the park, no comparison. From the moment I turned on the projector, I noticed, that blue screen that you get when projectors just turn on without any content? That was so crisp and clear, and the color was just so vibrant and just popping out off of the screen. Watching my first show, I believe it was one of my favorite TV shows, Power by 50 Cent. I watched that as well as some other things. I watched UFC fight on it as well. But yeah, everything I watch, it's just so much more cinematic and sharp, and the shadows are just so rich and full of detail and information. And the colors, whether it's animated or an animated video or just a colorfully graded film, it's just super vibrant and sharp. The 3,500 lumens compared to the 2,800 lumens, which the Epson has, is a big difference. I can definitely tell that there's a brightness difference there. For example, I can turn on the lights in my room and still be able to fully see what's going on the projector screen, whereas I couldn't really do that with the Epson. So you don't actually need total darkness when using the Panasonic. Of course, the setup of your room is, dependent on that as well. I have white walls, and the throw distance between projector and the screen, it's a good distance, but it could be further. And if you have a further distance, that means more washed out the light or the image would be if you turn the lights on. So that's something to keep in mind. If you paint your walls black, that makes a difference as well. So yeah, image quality, brightness, contrast, and color is definitely a solid upgrade for me. I'm definitely happy with it. What made me upgrade at first though, because I was using the Epson for years. It was my father's projector in high school. He bought it for $500. And they're actually still going for $500 right now. And high school for me would be, that's almost 15, 16, 17 years ago when this projector first arrived into my home. And that was the first projector I used for a home theater setup. What made me realize I needed to change was that I started to watch more movies in the theater. And then when I go back home to watch movies at home, I'm realizing, yo, this is so bad. Like I would notice when I move a movie from a monitor to being projected on the screen, like the colors were all off. And then of course I spoke about the whole keystone issue with having the projector be at an angle and then going into the settings to change the keystone so it looks like it's straight. But I had that whole issue with the image not being in focus, and you know, it was becoming like not good. So also I've never changed the lamp on the projector because, you know, I was thinking of doing that at first, but it just did not seem like a feasible option, especially at the cost of getting the lamp and making sure I don't damage anything while I'm trying to fix it, and compared to the cost of the actual projector itself. So I was like, well, let me just get a new projector because might as well, it's been overdue now. And I was just gonna get a normal projector because projectors are expensive. I was just gonna try and get another okay 1080p, maybe good-ish projector from Amazon or something. But then I came across this one and I was like, hell yeah, count me in. So originally the owner, I believe, was selling it for $150 or something like that, which is crazy by itself. Like, I don't think they knew the value of what they even had that they were selling. But I was just like, yo, how about 125 though? You know what I mean? And she said yes. There was no way I was letting that slide. Also, I don't know what it is, but there were a couple other Panasonic projectors in similar leagues on Facebook Marketplace. Also, I think I could be just lucky because I live in LA and there are a lot of audio-visual equipment being bought and sold constantly in this industry. Between cameras, TVs, speakers, amplifiers. I've seen so many amplifiers at Goodwill, online, just going for nothing, like $50 online, you know? Because I just think there's so many artists and musicians and people that do video that live in LA, so it makes sense that there would be a large flow of, or trade of, audiovisual equipment. All right, so let's talk about the setup process and the ease of use. Ease of use of both projectors, the Epson and the Panasonic, just for comparison. Now, one thing I noticed off the bat is that the Panasonic has a lot more adjustments that you can make, and I touched on some of these points earlier in the video. The lens shift, the keystone, the brightness settings, the height adjustments. There are a lot more different ways that you can adjust the Panasonic, which makes it more, gives you a better end result in terms of positioning and projecting your image, whereas the Epson has less adjustments, but I find that I'm constantly adjusting the Epson or trying to find that sweet spot, whereas the Panasonic dialed it in once and I have not moved it, I haven't done anything since. And it took me about 30 minutes or less to fully get it dialed in and the lens shift where I want it. You know, right now it's sitting on a table and projecting, but in the future I think I might have it ceiling mounted or maybe put on a tripod or something like that. It is a lot bigger, I should say, than my Epson, and it was definitely surprised. I did not expect it to be that big when I saw it in the pictures compared to when I saw it in real life. It was a lot bigger, a lot heavier, the lens was bigger, but interestingly enough, it's a lot cooler. It doesn't get nearly as hot as it gets with the Epson. The Epson gets really hot. It really like turns up the heat when I'm using it, and that definitely puts a limit sometimes on how long I use the Epson. Whereas the projector, sometimes I even play video games with and watch movies and do different things in the same stretch of time. You know, like I was playing Flight Simulator on there, like I'm just chilling, flying my plane for hours, you know. So the temperature that lamps get are just ridiculous. Whereas this is a laser projector and it uses LEDs. It's like a hybrid kind of, and it definitely makes a difference to my user experience and the temperature and all that. So again, solid upgrade for me, and definitely glad I went with that as my new projector as opposed to a regular lamp projector. So on the topic of cost effectiveness and reliability, which again we kind of touched on before, you know, it's always a gamble, you know, when you're buying used electronics. But you know, I think over the years I've come to have a good eye for good buys when I'm buying used things. I still make mistakes every now and then, but for the most part, you know, when you ask the proper question, for example, you know, just doing your research, it can definitely minimize the mistakes or bad buys that you make when you're buying used equipment. So for example, when I was communicating with the seller, she didn't really even know some of the things I was asking, but I'm not even entertaining a meetup, or we're not even talking about me buying anything or negotiating on price or nothing like that until I get this information. So one thing, for example, I asked was, what's the usage time? You know, if she told me something like 18,000 hours, I'd have been like, nah, never mind, I'm good. Because for me, you know, at that point, it just wouldn't be worth it. So when she told me 4,500 hours and I did my research and I know that, okay, this projector and other laser projectors have a typical lifespan of 20,000 hours. So I was like, wow, this is a good price for relatively new projector. It's, you know, it's like buying a car, and you know that if you're buying a car with 15,000 miles, you know, it's 15,000 miles. However, that's still relatively good compared to other used cars which have 100,000 miles. So yeah, I think definitely a good buying decision at $125 and not having to deal with changing bulbs or anything like that, you know. So if you can find a deal like that, you know, definitely do your research, ask the proper questions, ask how it was being used, where it was being used, you know, ask for pictures, ask them to show you, you know, the back, and you know, so you can see if anything is messed up. So just don't entertain the thought or the conversation of purchasing until you know, qualify this buy online. So yeah, doing research can definitely save you time and money when buying used equipment. All right, people. So in conclusion, the Panasonic PT-RZ470UK is definitely still a solid buying decision. It definitely enhanced my experience, and if you get the opportunity to buy one, it can be a solid addition to your home theater, whether you're just building your first home theater or you're just trying to upgrade from a regular projector like I was. You know, having that 1080p resolution is definitely a game changer, and I can see the difference. So solid buy, definitely exceeded my expectations. If you can get it used and at a good price in 2024. So yeah, brand new, it's about almost $3K. So you can see they put a lot into the projector, and it definitely comes at a steep price point, brand new. But I definitely looked out. I saw other Panasonics online. Not exactly the same model, but similar, while I was looking on Facebook Marketplace. So if you can snag one, for sure, it's definitely a solid buying decision, or anything along those lines with similar specs. There are some scams on Facebook Marketplace to look out for, so you know, definitely, like I said, do your research on Google or Reddit, you know, just to find out information about the model and things that are going on in the projector space. If you found this review and video helpful, please leave a like and comment and let me know what you think. If you have similar experience with laser projectors or this projector, or if you have any questions on the projector that I'm using, or just on the laser projector experience in general, you know, hit me up in the comments or hit me up on social media. I'll be happy to give my expertise or my opinions on that topic. Alright peeps, subscribe and look out for more videos.